something a little different for you on the fast tracks this week. The unlikely lads.
Powerboat racing, the domain of the rich, for playboys, or a sport for anyone who's excited by 200 horsepower, racing in potentially angry seas, in boats reminiscent of a Batman movie, but owned and raced by men and women from ordinary walks of life. Take two ordinary guys, a Royal Marine and an airline pilot. A simulated beach landing at Poole in Dorset, where our Royal Marine is in training for real conflict. Sergeant Chris Bryan exchanges combat uniform for racing overalls, swaps one boat for another, and becomes a powerboat driver, racing at speeds of up to 80 miles an hour in an eggshell-thin fiberglass boat. How and why does he do it? And what do the Royal Marines make of it?
The Marines are very supportive in what I do, but whereas most powerboats racing's at weekends, and unless there's another war start, I usually get weekends free. So, you know, it's a fine balance of being able to do the things, but we get round it.
From the armed forces to civil aviation. Captain Alan Wheel, a senior pilot with British Airways, is the backup man, the navigator to our marine driver,
100.
providing stability and maturity to this most unlikely racing partnership. How does Alan manage to combine the complex schedules of an international airline pilot with the racing calendar?
Well, obviously my career takes precedence, but because the operation runs all year round and I can select what work I do within certain parameters, provided I'm willing to not mind where I go, I can usually arrange to be off for all the races.
Two mature men then, of different backgrounds, social and professional, who seem to share the need for drama and speed, additional to that already exists in their working lives. Just how did this unlikely partnership ever come about?
Well, Chris and I first met when his boat wasn't ready. He borrowed our boat, a boat that I own in partnership with somebody else, in order to race around the Isle of Wight. I mean, I like riding motorbikes fast. I like going in a boat fast. Anything that gives you a buzz. So that's why I'm stupid enough to sit behind him while he's trying to get this boat going as fast as possible.
No, it's not caught in danger. I think it's the adrenaline. But you minimise what's going to happen, A, by good training, and B, by preparation. Okay, yeah, there is danger. You could end up killing yourself out there, but I could walk out on the road and get knocked over by some twat in a car. So, which is the most dangerous thing? Me going out in a boat with me being in control, or me walking down a busy city street and stepping out off the pavement?
My problem is even worse, because at least he's in control. I'm just sitting there watching him trying to kill me. Well, trying not to kill me, I'm sure.
Before the adrenaline rush, chores need to be done. Chris and Alan are not only driver and navigator, but mechanics, cooks and bottle washers as well. At the crack of dawn, Chris fuels the boat. 200 pounds of unleaded petrol is needed to allow this Class 3 boat to complete the hour-long race. The season's first big race might not be about winning, but saving face. Despite all the hard work, long nights, experimentation and pilfering of ideas from others, it's time to face reality, to test their resolve and commitment, to see if they measure up to the challenge.
Yeah, testing. Right, take 20 past 7 now. Alan should be down at 7:30. We can get all the kit laid out. Go and have some breakfast, go and pick the first to sign on, get scrutineered, and then test from 11 o'clock.
It's all hands to the pumps at the marina. No expensive team of engineers and mechanics here. Old habits die hard. And at work or play, it's still the same. Chris follows his Royal Marine training to the letter. It's another kit inspection, while Alan conducts his pre-flight checks with precision and years of practice. Scrutineering, as in most sport, must be thorough, and the Royal Yacht Association is no exception. This may not be Formula One, but it is still dangerous, so every safety issue needs to be addressed and all engines carefully monitored. If the boat passes its inspection, it's allowed to compete. No permit, no race. But as in their professional lives, the arduous task of preparation is done before the event.
There's so much that can happen out there, you know, it's not just myself and Alan. You know, we've got an engine on the back of the boat, we've got systems inside the boat. I can only do so much to keep them running, but they will give up. But throughout the season, well, you know, we go as hard as we can, you know. We want to come first every time, but that won't be possible, and I doubt very much, you know, we're going to have at least one more breakdown this year. But it's trying to eradicate the breakdowns by servicing the boat properly before it goes in the water.
In the race, some aggressive driving by Chris and deft navigation by Alan enables them to take the lead. But lack of ultimate power in the end will let C12 down.
Yeah, we were all right. He was a little bit indecisive at Torquay on the national race. You know, everybody hung a left, and I said, "Are we going left here?" And he said,
I think it's straight on.
I think it's straight on, following them if you want to. And we went straight on, and we were going the right way. So I think now, Mr. Will, you must have the courage of your convictions.
I knew I was right, but I was scared of you.
You knew you was right, and you said follow them if you want to.
Well, that's up to you, isn't it? You're driving.
You're navigating.
It was really annoying that having gone the right way and gained a mile on the faster boats, to have them come past us because of their superior speed a few miles further into the race. That was so annoying, having gained an advantage and not being able to make the most of it because we didn't have the top speed.
But yeah, but the offshore 2000 race on the Saturday, we were struggling for revs. We couldn't catch up the 5, 6 boats in front of us, so we actually hung back a little bit. You know, we'll have a bit of tactics here. We were getting handicapped on that race, so we'll see.
For the next event, Mother Nature takes charge. A Force 8 gale puts racing in doubt, and the question of engine performance becomes secondary to safety.
You got it all right then, haven't you?
So I think that's it. We cancel, and those that can race, please race tomorrow's race, with a course to be decided by Mike, weather permitting. I think that's all we can do.
Chris and Alan display further frustration at the cancelling and rescheduling of the race.
Yeah. Are they talking about rerunning the race another day?
No, they're talking about rerunning it tomorrow.
Oh yeah, but the weather's going to be bad tomorrow as it is
no,
today.
I don't know. They're looking at all options at the moment.
I mean, because they run it another weekend, I won't be able to make it.
No.
They can't just schedule one in, can
Well,
they?
if they throw one in, I mean, I won't be in the country. I mean, that's no good.
All the deliberation won't stop the weather, but it allows time to reflect on the safety issues.
Well, you can see the weather's it's pretty terrible. We were hoping to race today, but the forecast is Force 7 around the headlands, and they've just cancelled due to bad weather, which is a bit of a shame, but gives us a chance to get the boat fit up for the next race.
The thing is, it's not that the boats can't take it. We could probably go out there and race, albeit at a slower speed than we normally would. But because it's so close inshore, if someone does have an accident and tip the boat over, you'd end up with your boat on the beach, and it'd be a total write-off, you know, and you'd get nothing for it, because no one would insure you for it. And you've got to look at the safety boats have to sit out there. It's meant to be an hour's race. They've got to sit in one place for an hour, bobbing up and down. I don't think so.
And then there's risk, there's a lot of boats in close proximity, rounding turns, and if one has an incident, it could take the other boats in with it. So it really is fraught with all sorts of dangers.
If conditions are bad here, they're not good for the prestigious Guernsey Gold Cup race, now held in Jersey. But then, Jersey is renowned for variable waters. This World Championship qualifying round provides a challenging mixture: choppy seas, a big swell, and an occasional smooth stretch. The mixed conditions suit the boys and the boat. Or perhaps, just maybe, these are the challenges that the crew really crave. Chris believes that he can push C-12 harder than most as a result of his Royal Marine training, which enables him to disregard the element of danger and to push the boat to the limits of safety. But while bigger boats battle through waves threatening to swamp them, Chris's unrelenting push may well introduce hidden stresses in engine or crew. Fate is about to strike. Chris's earlier apprehension becomes reality.
And the main problem, as I say, I'm surprised it just didn't go bang in a big way. 4 of your pistons were cracked, starting to crack around here.
So we could repair this engine.
You could,
yeah.
But in the long term, it might be better if you actually looked at getting a new, what we call a long block.
That's like a whole new engine.
It's a basic engine without the carburetors or the electrics.
Well, that's expensive.
Well, it's £3,300 plus VAT.
Yeah. After sleepless nights and over £4,500 of hard-earned cash, the boat is ready to race again. And with now an engine worthy of the boat, the team are ready to show the opposition they mean business. It's still a no-holds-barred Chris and Alan who at Penarth in South Wales baptise the boat in true maritime fashion.
Well, Alan hasn't actually said this, but he has actually won the oldest person in the Offshore 2000 series for the past 2 years with the most points. Probably because he's the only one over, or he's the oldest guy on the circuit.
I'm going to grow up one day.
Alan's 50th birthday party, while he disputes the number of years, it gives him the opportunity to review the season's performance. And as the gin and tonics flow, Alan's inhibitions dissolve and he begins to reveal in earnest how he feels things to be.
They're the ones who've got most experience, and almost nobody has ever done particularly well in their first season. You've really got to work at it. It's not something you can just jump in a boat and say, yes, I'm going to clean it. You don't.
Time and effort, isn't it?
It's time and effort and
Tweaking, playing.
And of course, Chris is a busy guy. I'm fairly busy, so he doesn't get as much time. I mean, if he was not working and could spend all his time testing, yeah, we'd be, you know, if we were Formula 1 drivers, and that's all we're doing, no problem. But every race we're going faster, his driving's getting better, we're working as a team better. So there's good things, but we've got to do it next season. And, you know, no, new boat.
That's all that effort. It'd be a shame not for next season as a team.
What we need is a competitive boat, and we'll be there. I mean, I'm quite keen for it.
We will do. We'll get a new boat for next year, and we'll get it during the winter. So that'll be a lot of practicing out there during the winter, which is like this year, we left it a little bit late. So by the time the season was upon us, we still had practicing to do or testing to do with different ideas. So we will start really early for next season.
After 25 years, 3 tours of Northern Ireland, being captured by the Argentinians during the Falklands War, Chris finally hangs up his life jacket and fatigues. But even to a veteran of the Falklands War, life outside the services can be fraught.
Like I said, I just retired after 25 years in the Marines, and I'm currently unemployed. Like going to the dole office, that's the biggest shock I've ever had in my life. I don't intend doing much until the end of the racing season. You know, I'll do enough to tick over in between races, enough to pay my beer money. And we'll sort something out later on in the year. There's the chance of a couple of jobs coming up abroad, but it's whether I want to spend a month at a time abroad.
The much-discussed new boat is a reality, courtesy of Colour Graphic, who bring their professionalism to the appearance of the boat. The arduous task of finding sponsors has paid off and given the boys a fighting chance in the new championship season. But new boats don't automatically bring success. They need to be rigged, tested and pushed to their limits, then developed to enlarge the envelope of their performance and to discover C12's ultimate potential. Once again, Chris's marine training and enthusiasm overrides other considerations until the inevitable happens.
When the water comes on board, I'm standing up and meet 80-mile-an-hour waves, and it does hurt.
Yeah.
And this is what happened. Because we also tripped to the right, so I was thrown forward on my left, hit my arm, but then the water came in this way and ripped the neck brace off, and a bit like a hanging and crash on it.
So I mean, when this kind of thing happens, you think like, this is my weekend, and I'm facing death. I mean, how do you feel about that, you know?
I don't think the chances at this sort of speed of death, another 20 miles an hour, once you get over 100 miles an hour, then death is quite likely.
Yeah.
But at these sort of speeds, you get injuries, but you don't think about it being likely to be fatal. It hurts. The last one, the water hit me so hard that it took me 2 minutes before Chris could get anything sense out of me because I was winded, and also, again, it hit in the throat, and I just couldn't really speak.
Well, if you're in a sport, you know, yeah, okay, tactics should have said that I should have gone out there and poodled round last, let all the 1.3 boats beat me and everything, and won the championship. But once you get out there and the horns start coming out of your headlight, you know, and you get the old red mist come over, you just go in for it. You know, there's no point going out there. If you don't scare yourself once a week, what's the point in doing it?
The highlight of the racing calendar and finals of the World Championships are held at the birthplace of British offshore powerboat racing, Cowes on the Isle of Wight. The ultimate challenge of racing in the Solent and the English Channel is a test of nerve and sinew. 2 fourth places in the heats means it's all to play for in the final. As the race gets underway, C12's chances take a major blow. Collision with another boat at the start threatens to put them out. But it's the other crew who finish up in the water, and Chris manages to steer clear and carry on with the race. The other crew are left bobbing up and down in the water awaiting rescue, apparently unhurt, showing proof of the real risks in offshore powerboat racing. While the race continues, officials in race control deliberate on the incident, but C12 recovers and begins to close on the leaders. Alan certainly seems to be happy. Is he conducting an orchestra, or is he the jockey getting the whip out for more horsepower from the engine? We see the incident again. Collision, contact, and over goes the catamaran. But C12 is able to continue. Their much sought-after place on the podium still in jeopardy. They assisted a stricken boat before finishing, and complex racing rules provide a minefield that needs careful negotiation. Step forward, Alan.
Hello there, it's Alan Wheel, navigator on Charlie 12. Coming up to East Leap for the final lap, we turned East Leap ahead of Charlie 70, who tried to cut inside us. He flipped. It was underneath a marked boat, but there were no safety boats on position. We stopped.
The earlier collision hasn't helped their case, and it seems no one wants to know about this rescue attempt.
We called to the marked boat on East Leap, and we called, will you, because I couldn't dig my radio out in time, I said, will you call to the timekeepers and report that we are stopped to assist an accident. At that stage, we were lying second, and we were 200 yards ahead of the one that eventually came second.
In the end, right prevails, and Alan and Chris are declared both joint second in the race and third in the World Championships.
There's the trophy for third place, and the trophy for second place. I don't know who gets what, and they're going to fight over that, but they're roughly worth the same.
Right, let's hear then from Alan Wheel. Alan, congratulations. Third, and joint second in the race, third in the World Championships. Does that exceed your expectations?
Very much so. I'm very pleased. And just to report on the accident,
Well done, Chris.
I looked over my shoulder. As we turned East Leaf, I looked back to see where the following boats were, and I just saw this cat coming at us head on at full tilt, at which point he put the helm hard over, and I could have just about written my name on the underside of it as he turned. And we saw him go. Chris went round in a circle, and there were no heads showing, and there was no safety boat right there. They were, I understand, they were on the way. And Chris got out, he got his kid off, got out, and he was about to dive in when their heads popped up. So and by the time we get ourselves going again, we lost about 5 positions.
Saved you an early bath, Chris.
It certainly did. Well, at least we got the bar earlier.
Yes, all right. Well, well done for going to their rescue. Many congratulations for finishing third. Let's have a quick word then with our Italian friends. With the trophies safely in their hand, they celebrate hard-earned success. Then it's off to thank their sponsor, Eric Hall, and to mull over the race one more time.
All over the roof. Right.
Chris Bryant, after adjusting to civvy life, works independently in marine security, but still races like a Mad Hatter.
You better get used to it, mate.
That's going to be a better one.
Alan Wheel has moved on from navigating. He's opted to assist in managing and negotiating sponsorship and future support for the team.
And that'll just underline the fact that you're
Low tech.
That's how it goes.
He's high tech.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, he's high tech, I'm low tech.
I think you've
Well
managed
done,
to
anyway.
underline.
Yeah.
I didn't actually need you tonight.
Oh, the hell you did. What about when you turn around to me and say,